Hi, I'm Greg Dell with attorneys Dell and Schaefer, and something that's been going on with the disability companies that really bothers me a lot is, can you be approved for disability benefits if you continue to work while disabled? And you may be thinking about, well, how could I be approved for disability benefits if I'm still working? And here's the problem that happens. Most people who seek a disability insurance claim are dealing with a chronic medical condition. And I would say out of 9 out of 10 people who call me, they say, yeah, I've been suffering for 3 months, 4 months, or a year. And I've just tried to stick it out and I just don't think I can do it anymore. Well, here's what happens. You've basically been a hero working through this medical condition for a long period of time. You've been trying to do what you can do. And unfortunately, the expression that no good deed goes unpunished happens with a disability claim, because what the disability insurance company says is, well, we see you had medical treatment for a year. We don't doubt your diagnosis, but what you've shown to us is that you've been able to continue to work at the same capacity for the past year, or for whatever the period of time is from when your medical treatment started until the time that you stopped working, and we don't believe that your medical condition has reached the level where you can't continue to work. And unfortunately, with chronic medical conditions, there's a high likelihood that from when you first started treating until the period of time when you're going to file your claim, that there's not going to be much objective evidence that will have changed. And by objective evidence, I mean if you had an MRI, or you had a CT scan, or you had an X-ray, that if we were to look from 1 year to now when you want to file your claim, it's probably going to look the same. And so the disability company will unfortunately say you continued working through that condition. And that's I don't want to call it, it's like the scam, it's the big fraud of the disability insurance claims, that the disability companies have trained their claims examiners and asked their reviewing in-house hired doctors to look at the claim and say, has anything changed? Even though the person has extensive medical history, what changed? And the reality is that in most cases, unless you all of a sudden got hit by a car or some horrific type accident, most things don't change. And the reality is that it's a facade that the disability insurance companies are throwing up. What happened is you've been suffering and you were a fighter and you tried to battle through it for all of this time and you didn't want to stop working. You didn't want to have a significant reduction in your income down to 60% or less of what you were earning. So you tried to stick it out and work through this whole thing, and now you're being punished for this. And so there are things that you can do and that you should plan for in order to prevent this. And the way you do that is the manner in which your medical records are documented. It's what you tell the doctors when you go. It's how you complete your claimant statement when you go ahead and file for disability benefits. It's how your doctors fill out your attending physician statements, which are going to be required by the long-term disability insurance company. Those are all things that we work with our clients, because when we look at a claim, we think about how is the disability insurance company going to look at this claim, and what evidence, what support do we have to help our clients to present in a light most favorable to our clients so that the disability carrier will approve the claim. And that's a process that you need to go through and learn about. And that's one of the reasons why we do these videos, to educate you so you can be in the best position possible to get your claims approved. So I want to throw you a few tips here to help you be in the best position to be prepared for what's ahead. And if you're on claim, to keep yourself on claim. Number one, I want to see you explore the opportunity to go to as many doctors as you can possibly see in different medical specialties to document your medical condition. So if you were, for example, to have a back disorder, you should be seeing an orthopedic doctor, you should see a neurologist, you should see either a pain management and physical rehabilitation doctor known as a physiatrist. You should consider seeing an anesthesiologist that specializes in pain management. You should be going for, have a massage therapist. You should try physical therapy. These are all types of people. You have to build a rock solid team of people to help you so that when you go ahead and put in the claim, you can have this objective evidence and people behind you to say, look, I tried to do all these things, and yes, I tried to continue working. I'm sorry, I didn't want to give up my job, but it reached a point where I couldn't do it anymore. And the manner in which we present the claims for our claimants, we paint this picture and we help guide the claimants. Now, when we get a claim where we don't have this medical support, what we then need to do is work with you and your doctors to recreate, in a way, the documentation of the past year and get medical support from your doctors to show that all of these complaints and all of the things that, yes, the person probably could have stopped working back then, but it's not unreasonable that at this point in time they can't continue to work. And if they continue to work, they're going to exacerbate their condition, or they're not going to be able to effectively do the job. And the most important aspect of this that's missing and the disability carriers never consider is the cognitive requirements of the job. That means your ability to think clearly, your ability to multitask, the ability to focus throughout the day, the ability to handle all different kinds of things. When you're in pain, there's no way you're able to focus for 8 hours a day. And that's not a psychiatric condition that could possibly be limited. That's a physical manifestation of your condition. When someone has a headache or a migraine or they're in pain, they don't want to engage in lots of conversation with other people. They can't focus on a particular task. That's just common sense. And that's an element that needs to be brought out and presented throughout your records. Because unfortunately, if your disability claim is denied and you exhaust your appeal and you don't present all of this information, the judge never has the opportunity to review all of these types of factors that we're telling you need to be in the records. Another thing that's super strong idea is you got to keep a pain journal or a symptom diagram. And you don't have to be in pain 24/7. That's not what we're saying. But if on a daily basis something's going on that's limiting your ability for how long you can sit, how long you can stand, how long you can walk, or you're uncomfortable for 2 or 3 hours, remember, you're required to work for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's the standard. So if for 2 or 3 hours of the day you had to lay down, or you had to take a nap, or you just couldn't focus and you had to take a pain med, that needs to be in a document, because what we want to do is we want to have the evidence to say, look, here's a months of symptom logs that show that this person was unable to work. Here's why I couldn't work. Here's what I was suffering every day. If you don't have that and you try to recreate this for the disability company, it's very hard. So something very simple for you to remember. You have to look messed up on paper. This is not something I had to go to law school for or work for the past 22 years as a lawyer to know. But it's simple. They're going to look at your claim on paper. They're not going to meet you. They're likely not going to examine you. They're likely never going to speak with you. They're going to try to manipulate your medical records. And if your medical records are not strong on paper, then they're going to deny your claim and give you trouble. And that's what you want to avoid. So what I encourage you to do, and there's lots of things to talk about with your claim no matter what your medical condition is. It's different for every medical condition. Every policy is written different. Every occupation has its own nuances. Reach out to myself or any of our lawyers for an initial free consultation. We're going to review your disability policy. We're going to review whatever correspondence you have from your company, no matter what stage you're at. We're going to provide you with an initial free consultation. No matter where you live, all you have to do is email us copies of your documents or fax them to us. When you call us, if your preference is to just call us and have a chat on the phone, the initial call is free. A lawyer is going to answer your call, which is something that's very unique that our law firm does, is because we know the sense of urgency for your claim, and we want to give you the immediate attention that you desire. If all of our lawyers are on the phone, we're going to schedule an appointment for you to talk so that we don't miss each other. We want to address your issues immediately and get on top of your disability claim so that you know what to expect, or if you're worried about your benefits being denied, or if they've been denied already, we want to try to give you some kind of peace of mind so that you know what lays ahead for your disability claim. We also would greatly appreciate if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. We regularly put these videos out on a weekly basis. We have more than 600 videos available. We've been doing this for a long time. We're the first people on the internet and have the largest following of any law firm or anything related to disability insurance content. So we appreciate the ability to provide this information to you, because the better educated you are, the better position you're going to be in to keep your benefits from being approved. So plan for your disability benefits, protect your benefits, and always be in the best position to keep these benefits for as long as you need them. Should you need us in the future, we're here to help, and we look forward to the opportunity to speak with you.